Hello, Lagos. Good afternoon. It's another edition of Education Dialogue brought to you by Edugist, proudly sponsored by Skilled Integrated Services. On Education Dialogue every week, we talk about relevant issues around education, basically profiling solutions. And of course, as you know, we bring you an expert authority to discuss key issues. This week, we are looking at Back to School series. Remember, just 2 weeks ago, we have the managing director of our sponsor here talking about supplies. But just after that show, a lot has happened in the economy, starting from fuel price. So today, our topic will be looking at Back to School, navigating the norms. We will take a quick break, and when we come back, I will introduce my guest, and we will get into the conversation.
Hello Lagos, join us every Thursday right here on Inspiration 92.3 FM from 3:30 to 4 p.m. for Education Dialogue by Edugist. On Education Dialogue, we bring together policymakers, education leaders, and parents to discuss issues, explore solutions, and drive positive change. With Edugist, education has a voice.
Glad to have you back. In case you're just joining us, the program is Education Dialogue, reaching you from 92.3 Inspiration FM, and this is brought to you by Edugist, proudly sponsored by Skilled Integrated Services. Edugist is an impact newsroom and innovation lab telling the story of education. And my name is Elvis Boniface. As I said earlier, today we're looking at Back to School, navigating the norms. So today we'll be talking about what a lot of Nigerian families are going through in trying to navigate the back to school season amidst challenging economic times. Now, in case you don't know, if you are not in education, some schools resumed last Monday, some other schools will be resuming next week for the 2024-2025 school session, which has commenced for some schools. Now, parents are grappling with rising cost of everything from tuition fees to transportation and school supplies. Now, but that is not all. Schools are also facing increased operational expenses due to inflation and other economic factors, and educators are tasked with providing quality education in a demanding environment, like extremely demanding. So today, we'll be looking at what can parents do, what can school owners, educators do, even the students when necessary, what can they do? But now that depends on the age where they are. But to discuss this with me, it's Nancy Ekpezu. She is an accomplished education and management consultant and a highly regarded life coach. Her company, Ekpezu Smith Consulting, recruits for organizations and help them to stay sustainable through proper structure and performance management of the staff. Now, she's got over 3 decades in this sector, in the education sector. She has served as an administrator in 4 reputable schools across Nigeria before venturing into education and management consulting. She's quite big online on Facebook. She's got a group with over 16,000 community members, as it were. She's an author of several books. She's a lead consultant and trainer for her organization. Nancy, good to have you on Education Dialogue.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's quite a robust profile. Today we're looking at navigating the norms. I know that because of the work we do at Edugist, at this time last week after the show, most of the emails and messages we got was fee increment.
That's expected at this time.
And you know why that was? Because of the development from NMPCL. I mean, hike in price. So back to school, navigating the norms, looking at it from economic perspective, because that seems to be the driver of education. So let's take first pillar, parents. How can they effectively manage their budget to cover the back to school expenses in light of this challenging economy?
Okay, first, I would like to say that this is a time to face reality, whether you're a parent, whether you're a school, whatever it is. I mean, this is what is upon us as a country, particularly. So, as parents, this is a time to tell ourselves home truths. What this school that I've chosen for my child, first, is it the right school? Can I afford it at this moment? Based on our family budget, based on our income, based on priorities, can we really comfortably afford this school? Is a decision every family has to take. Even though schools are resuming, but it's still a decision to take, whether it's at the last minute or whatever, but this should have been done a lot earlier. So can you comfortably say that, yes, I can afford this school? When I say afford, it means that no one has to chase you for school fees at any point. And can you say that you can pay for your child's school fees the whole school year? If you can't do that in a school where your child is, most likely it's something you might have to reconsider. So having said that, if you're now in this school, let's separate needs from wants. What your kids need to go back to school are actually needs. So if they need a handbag, for example, a school bag, backpacks, they need books, maybe exercise books. But whether those backpacks are branded is now a want at this point. So if a bag costs, for example, 12,000 and another is 50, and you have 4 children to take care of, I think you can save costs by going for a bag that's not branded. And what's even wrong with them using what they used last school year? Who made the rule that children cannot use the same supplies they used last year in the next school year?
So not just to market, because you just mentioned why must you change your school park and other things. Just so you know that the sponsors of this program, they have got a marketplace where if you buy one bag, I don't think you have to change every school year. So allow me to do that marketing for them. The website is skit.com. Check them out to actually see what you can get that is durable with warranty. I said that. But Nancy, I was going to ask you that in our income, how much would be ideal for tuition and all that? But I know that here we don't have a strong budgetary system.
We really do not.
We are not able to measure our inflow and outflow.
Exactly.
But for a few people that works. Otherwise, I don't know how civil servants are able to afford a lot of things. But that brings me to the question, is it not really time for us to have effective financial planning as a people?
Yes, families, that's very important. But that question you asked will also depend on the family. If a particular family prioritizes education over everything, then most of their money will go there and they would not mind choosing a school where they have to struggle paying it, if that's their dream. But I think you should be able to say, well, maybe 30% of our income will be used for educating our kids. And if we have maybe extra mouths to feed or educate, like an extra child after we've planned, maybe we have 2 and another one comes, then we have to really do the budget to at least fit in there as well. But I think it's time for everyone to plan their finances. This is no time to live in deception, to take critical decisions. So we were talking about how parents can cope. I think this is also a time where you could say, okay, why don't I have a child school close home?
True.
And what is wrong with neighbors pulling a car and saying, okay, today this car drops all of the children on Monday and the next day another? That would be based on trust though, and the relationship among them. But I think we need to get to a point where we do things as a community. We've gotten to that point really already. And
I think we were there, but somehow we ran away from our communal ways of living, thinking that we are modern. So I agree that we should go back there, but still staying on parents. Some parents want to send their kids to some grade of school because of the network, because of the parents.
Absolutely, they have their reasons. Yes.
So, but what constitutes on a normal stand, what can you say is an ideal school? Putting out everything from faculty, staff, to curriculum. What is the basic that an average parent should look at?
First, is a school adaptable and open to learning? I think that's one thing you should look at. Are they stuck in their ways, the old school way of doing things? And then do they deliver on the vision that they promise they will? Because it's not enough to have beautiful classrooms and a nice ambience. How about their vision? What exactly is the driving force? Is it just business? Are they just there to make money? Or are they there because they have the passion as well as the business side to actually run a school? And then how is the human resource treated? How are the people there treated? Nobody wants to be in a school where your child's teacher is changed every term. You come in and there's a new face this term, the next term there's a new face. You will obviously know there's something wrong with the way that the staff members are managed by the owners. So human resource management is one key thing that schools should look for, because every school has the curriculum. You can go online and download a curriculum. You can get a specialist to just design one for you, in a matter of weeks. But how exactly are the people treated, the people that get the job done? Because their level of motivation and involvement in what they do is going to impact on your child. So I think human resource management is one thing to look at.
Okay, so these are some of the things parents should look at in making decisions. That's for parents. We will not move to school.
Okay.
We are a consultant there, you know what that means. But we will take a quick break, and when we come back, we will discuss that.
Hello Lagos, join us every Thursday right here on Inspiration 92.3 FM from 3:30 to 4 p.m. for Education Dialogue by Edugist. On Education Dialogue, we bring together policymakers, education leaders, and parents to discuss issues, explore solutions, and drive positive change. With Edugist, education has a voice.
Glad to have you back. In case you're just tuning in, the program is Education Dialogue, brought to you by Edugist, a newsroom reporting education and an innovation lab, and this is made possible by Skilled Integrated Services. We've been discussing back to school, how do we navigate the new norms, from the prism of the economy. I think you can actually call into the station if you have questions, contribution for my guest Nancy. She's a consultant, an education and management consultant with over 30 years of experience in education. She's worked in 4 top schools, so she knows what she's talking about. In case you want to call into the studio, the studio 0909 911 111, that is 005. So 09099, that's 99 111 003. Let's go to school. School owners, really, the fire on them, it's much.
It is actually, yes.
Operational costs from every dimension. We cover education. We know the messages we get. You consult for some of these things. What strategy can they actually implement to mitigate the impact of rising operational costs? Why trying to maintain quality education? It's very important.
Yeah. Sadly enough, a lot of schools do not keep proper records, financial records, which makes it really tough. Yeah, from my experience as an administrator. So this is the time to put your records straight as a school, and not to spend spend like you're spending from your kitchen. The business is a separate entity from you as the owner and must be treated so. Having said that, at this point, it's not the time to hold back information from your staff, because the truth is, in the education sector, we have teachers who are absolutely passionate about teaching and have no business that they work in a business. And that's why somebody will put on the AC and leave it on and go home, because he doesn't think that there's an impact on the organization. So it's a time to have the family meeting as an organization where you discuss the nitty-gritties of business and what everybody's contribution to the success of the organization would be. I had such a session on Friday with the school, by the way. Normally before we get back to school, everybody's training on classroom management, activities to do with the kids, but this is a time to have talks about business. And so it's time to tell people that, look, you work in a business as an employee in a school. This is a business, not just a place you come to show your passion. And that means that when the organization is facing financial crisis, it has an impact on everyone. And even your involvement and the activities you do in the school can have an impact on the school's financial, status. So things like procurement, this is the time to put, things right. Who does the approval? Where can you get best buys? Who can you collaborate with to even buy in bulk? For example, a school is small and maybe you have just 50 children and another school has 1,000 and so enjoys discounts on when they order. It's not a time to be prideful and say, oh no, they're doing their thing, they are competitors. It's time to come together and say, look, we can actually shop together, we can collaborate in this area where I bring in my procurement needs in these areas that you have. Since we use the same books and same publishers, please add them to yours so that we can enjoy, the discount that you enjoy.
So don't work in silos.
Don't work in silos. Educate your staff about the status of the business. They know there are issues, but sometimes they do not really understand all of the things that schools spend money on, And so let them know how their activities can impact on the organization's finances and their contribution. Have a brainstorming session where they can even bring ideas. At the session I had with the staff, I was surprised about some of the ideas that they brought, which they had never told the school owner, because they had never had such a session.
So if I hear you, there should be utmost transparency.
Exactly.
Everybody, some schools have got board, but whilst you report to your board, also speak to the staff because they are a key pillar of the
Exactly.
So we have a message here. So someone say, please, when you are sending a message, just add your name and of course probably your location. So he or she said, my friend and I have withdrawn our kids from private schools to government schools due to undue increase in fees. We are investing in their homes now. Did we make the right choice? Without my guest speaking, you did make the right choice. And tell us your name and your contact. Let's know about this investing in home. What can you advise other parents from this?
Well, that's somebody that is facing the reality. But such a parent should also be available to bridge the gap in what the kids might be missing. Because the truth is, we would not have a proliferation of private schools in Nigeria if the government schools were working greatly. So if someone is withdrawing his child from a private school to a government school in the country right now with the way the government schools are, then you must be able to face the reality to what the kids will have to go through in adjusting, and probably having staff who would not be as committed as the ones who were, they had as teachers in the private school. So will the parents have the time to be able to look into what the kids are doing and compare notes and see what he or she can do to help bring them up to speed?
So the person responded already that what she meant, not investment in home, but home lessons.
Okay, so, home lessons.
So
that
has probably bridged the gap.
Okay.
I think it's a conversation we would like to talk about in subsequent edition. Now, in the midst of all this, these parents withdrew the kids to public school
from a private school.
From a private school. Now, let's go to government and talk about two things. Now, the quality and the sustainability of what can be the semblance of quality in government school on the one hand. But before then, because we're talking about school owners, I found out in other climes, Kenya, South Africa, there is this subsidy for school owners. They can easily access funding. Is a time not right for government to support schools really?
I think it's time. We're already at that moment where we know that we need all the support in the private sector. And I like the initiative the government of the state started recently by inviting school owners and consultants in the
As
private
Lagos
sector,
State.
Lagos State, to meet with the government to at least air out their opinions and ways to collaborate. Even though we haven't seen much done yet, at least that step is a step in the right direction, which must be commended. But I must point out that the reason we have so many private schools, some not even registered, is because our public schools are not functioning at the level that they should. And so if we had public schools functioning, to our expectation, we really would not be having all these issues, setting up schools here and there privately. So I call on the government, actually, I don't know who is responsible for that, to make sure that at least the meeting that was held in Lagos doesn't just end at the meeting level, but that we look into undue taxes for private schools, because these schools are actually helping out the government to educate the populace. And so partnership between the government and the private sector is absolutely important at this time.
Brilliant summation. Lagos, if you're just listening, the program is Education Dialogue, reaching you from Inspiration 92.3 FM. You can contribute, ask question, comment. In the few minutes we have studio line 090 991111005. Nancy, we have talked about parents, we've talked about school owners, we've talked about government, but I do think that the principal subject why we're having this conversation is actually the students, the kids. And one time, sometime in education, we have this conversation and we think they can just lead to that. You've talked about carpooling. There are some children, because of their upbringing, they don't want to share anything. Some students feel that there must be a breakfast box, a lunch box. A lot of them have not come to that reality of the changing times. How do we design a communication mechanism and channel to begin to have conversations with our students?
Well, the school and home will have a lot to do with that. First, the home will have, as a family, you should have meetings where you communicate openly with the children to let them know what the realities are right now and some decisions that you'll be taking, and also hear their opinion. They might have suggestions, too much as their children. They might have suggestions that could help as a family. And so have those conversations that this is how much that ends, this is what is going on with mom's finances or our finances as a family. And these are decisions we've decided to take because of so and so reasons. Always give them the reasons.
Yes.
And then the school also should have conversations with the children and set up pastoral teams that can help them to absorb the shock. Because much as we are the decision makers, we make decisions and just dump on the children a lot of times. So we need to have that pastoral support for them, and at this point their mental health, so that there's kind of an inclusive work environment that helps them to make the necessary changes.
That's the word I was looking for. The mental health of these students, very, very important. You can be part of this conversation. I hope you are following us across social media on X, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. We are Edugist. Just be part of the conversation. And for latest education news, visit our website www.edugist.org. And this program is brought to you by Skid Integrated Services. If you are a parent, if you are school owners, they have a marketplace for them. Nancy, in one word, how can these four people, parents, school, the students, and the government, one word, how can we collaborate to ensure that we achieve the same aim, quality, access to quality education?
Well, when we think that the children we are raising are actually going to be leading this country as well, and we've all complained, we have felt the pinch, then we'll know that we have to take decisions that will help the next generation.
Nancy Ekpezu, thank you for being my guest on Education Dialogue. Lagos, this is how much we can go. The show returns same time, same station next week, Thursday. But before then, engage us online. We cover education 24/7. So let the conversation continue online. My name is Elvis Boniface. I like to connect with you across all social platforms. Have a good day.